Hello, everyone, and welcome to this, our third episode of From the President's Desk. This series is just to keep you all up to date on what is going on in the life of Father Dave Rylander, the president of CMIC, and just to talk about things we've done in the month and things we're looking forward to. So before we start, though, today we are celebrating the Feast of the Archangels, Saint Michael, Saint Raphael, and Saint Gabriel. It's a pretty significant feast day in the life of the Church. These three angels are known specifically because of their appearance in Scripture. So, for example, Saint Michael, we hear about him fighting Satan in the Book of Revelations. The angel Gabriel, of course, appears to Our Lady for the Annunciation. And that incident is behind one of the most powerful prayers, perhaps the Hail Mary. And then we have Saint Raphael appearing to Tobias in the book of Tobit. And just there's some significance in the names of these angels. So Saint Michael means who is like God. Saint Gabriel is strength of God. And Saint Raphael is medicine of God. So these three saints, I think, definitely a source of great power in our day-to-day lives, just in terms of intercession, but also in specific pivotal moments in Scripture, playing key roles there. And I have a question for Father Dave, and that is, what is the difference between angels and archangels?
So for this, I go to St. Gregory the Great, who says that we use these terms, angels, archangels, in terms of the mundane, the earthly functioning of these heavenly spirits. And angels and archangels take on a human appearance only when they come into the earthly realm. So a simple answer, angels and archangels, messengers of God. Archangels have a greater message. So Gabriel comes to Mary. Do we assume also Zachariah and Joseph in the dreams? Who knows? Michael in the vision of John the Evangelist, who defeats Satan. And as you said, Raphael in the healing of Tobias. Different angels perform certain functions in the earthly realm on behalf of God, or I should say, the action of God through the visible form of the Spirit.
So the distinction, I guess, with angels specifically, I can refer to my guardian angel, and that is individual to me, whereas the archangels perhaps have a broader role to play.
A more specific,
Okay.
And I think I would say a more specific role.
Well, this actually, at least Saint Michael, I think, is a good segue into one of our key announcements, which is the launch of our donor calendar. So 2022 calendar features icons by Rhea Kinghorn, and one of those icons is of Saint Michael, and I believe we put it in the month of October, either September or October, I can't remember, but there's a beautiful icon of Saint Michael. I'll see if I can pull it up here.
Should maybe say that a few years ago we did a calendar of icons from the Ukrainian Catholic
churches, yeah.
tradition. Ria is Roman Catholic, so it's a different style
Okay.
of icon. And a great way to pray
Yeah, that's right.
each month, asking for the intercession. They're very, very beautiful icons.
Yeah, the theme we went with was praying with icons. So the idea is that you would contemplate these icons month to month, and we've included a little basically a little reflection either from scripture or from a prayer specific to the saint that's depicted. And yeah, just journeying through the year in prayer, accompanied by the icons, because basically iconography is meant to be sort of a spiritual practice. Like not only does the artist sort of pray while they are creating it, but we are meant to be in prayer when we are contemplating them. So
we could also mention the Ria has created an icon of St. Philip Neri, who is the patron of Catholic missions in Canada. I don't have it here right now because I'm framing the icon, but the icon is also appearing in our fall magazine, which will be coming soon. And you have an article in there.
That's right.
Interviewing Ria about
that's right.
writing. They don't say painting icons. You speak of writing an icon.
So I just tossed up the image of her St. Michael icon just for relevance for today's feast day. And you'll see that same icon in the calendar. So you can purchase the calendar online if you go to our website, cmic.info/store. You'll see the calendar there, and you can order as many as you want. And we have sent a free calendar to all of our donors, so you should be expecting that either last week or this week it'll be arriving in your home. So then second to that, as Father mentioned, we have an article in the fall magazine that talks about this specific calendar in relation to Ria's work. It's an interview between Ria and Father Dave and myself, and we just asked her about the process of creating icons and how she discovered, how she got into it, and some specifics on the St. Philip Neri icon, which we commissioned for.
And while you're talking about that, I'm going to slip out really quick and get one of the boards, because we're going to be talking about that next.
Yeah. So Father Dave has spent some time creating some custom boards. So these are handmade wooden boards that we're also going to be making available for purchase online. And these are beautiful, beautiful boards. All different types of woods, different sizes, different shapes. And I think there's some cutting boards, display boards, and I mean, possibly, I think we put up some charcuterie boards as well.
And speaking of charcuterie boards, here is
There we go.
one example.
Yeah.
Is that the right way?
Yep.
There? So some people call these cheese boards. Could also be used as a breadboard.
Okay.
So this one has exotic wood in it, which is yellow heart or pau amarillo, zebra wood, purple heart, and again yellow heart. So they tend to be thinner.
Okay.
And people would prepare fruits and cheese and cold cuts, that sort of thing. Serving it, they would put it out for guests. Then you go to something thicker. Now the charcuterie board had a spar varnish finish on it. This is a cutting board. As you can see, it's thicker. And in here we have a lot of different woods. So as I am looking at it, we have the zebra wood, cherry, canary wood, purple heart, mahogany. We have some duke, osage. So a variety of different woods, finished in mineral oil and beeswax.
Yeah, these boards are definitely something to look at, but also some practical uses as well. We have a board at our house that has come in handy for cutting. It gives you a little bit extra counter space to work with. So these two will be available on the site, but right now we have 3 available, and we'll add more as we go. So get yours before somebody else gets it.
We could say that they're also unique boards.
Yeah, one of a kind.
One of a kind.
And then the last announcement here is we will be celebrating the CMIC Memorial Mass on November 2nd at 12:05. And this is
Eastern time.
Eastern time, yeah, here at our office in Toronto. And that will be available on our website, live streamed on YouTube and Facebook as well. And that is for the intention of all donors who have deceased who have died in the last year. So, any other announcements? No, I think that's it for announcements. So let's move into welcoming Father Dave back from his recent trip, which we left off last time talking about the fact that he was traveling with Joe Gennaro, our stewardship officer. So, Father Dave, how did it go?
So the trip was very successful. First, in getting some experience of what missions are like for our stewardship officer. Secondly, that we did a lot of filming, videoing, in preparation for our gala, which will be in April.
Next year,
The
yeah.
end of April. So we were able to do that. So overall, it was a success.
Okay. And you traveled to the Diocese of Whitehorse?
Whitehorse in the Yukon, and I took Joe on a trip that I used to do when I was there, which isn't necessary anymore because there is now a missionary priest in the village of Watson Lake. So instead of having to drive 9 hours from Whitehorse in the Yukon to Telegraph Creek in northern BC, he cuts that trip in half.
Okay.
But wanting to get Joe experience of distances that can be traveled, we went from Whitehorse, stopped off in Teslin, which is a very strong community. Trudy Mosner has been there for quite some time now, and I was able to interview her and a man by the name of Dennis, who does a lot of work for us at the church there. And then we went to Watson Lake. So 2 hours Whitehorse to Teslin. Teslin to Watson Lake is about 2.5 hours. And in Watson Lake, we renovated the rectory there for 2 priests. Unfortunately, we had 2 priests there, but one had to go back home.
Okay.
And there I celebrated Mass. It was kind of significant for me because when I left the Yukon, that was the last Mass that I did as I drove back to Ontario.
So you were coming back to a lot of places that you had served in while you were at the diocese?
Well, not served in. I was based in Whitehorse, but we would go out
You would
from
go to
Whitehorse
different-
on different routes throughout the Yukon to bring
Were
the
there
sacraments to
People still there that you knew?
Yeah, a lot of the same people. There are only 5 priests in the Yukon, so they only get Mass once a month.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you travel around to bring the sacraments.
So 5 priests for that entire region?
For that entire diocese.
Okay.
So to drive across the diocese without stopping for gas, which is impossible, would be 18 and a half hours.
Okay.
One drive.
And that's primarily covers the Yukon, right?
Well, and northern BC.
Northern BC. Yeah, like the population of Yukon estimated in 2020 was 42,000 people.
And most of them are, let's see, more than half of them are in Whitehorse.
Okay. So you drove while you were there. Did you guys just get a rental, or did you use a car from?
We used one of the pickups of the diocese that they have available. We had it's kind of a funny story, but it wasn't funny at the time. Driving on from Teslin before you get to Watson Lake is a place called Swift River, which is basically a gas station. And we stopped for gas, and we got out of the vehicle, and I went around the other side to recover something from the seat, and the vehicle was locked. Neither of us had the intention of locking it, and I left the keys inside because I was just going to fill up.
It wasn't winter there yet.
No, it wasn't winter yet. And so what do? So we had the owner of the gas station come out with some pry bars and things. And we weren't getting the job done. And we were due in Watson Lake for Mass. The only CAA was in Whitehorse. And they probably wouldn't get there that day. So, got to do something now. So let's bust a window. Which window should we bust? Let's bust the smallest that we can fit through, which was a section of the rear window. And we were about to do that when the owner came out and said, not the rear window, it's the most expensive. So, okay, then we were going to do the driver's back seat window. And when we were just about to do that, a young woman came out with a dog on a leash. She said, stop. I've broken into lots of vehicles. Joe and I looked at each other, and just then, talk about spirits of God, this truck pulls up.
Guardian angels.
2 guys get out, who I would not describe as guardian angels. And they got the pry tools and a coat hanger, and they were able to press the
Just
lock
through the
button.
window.
Yeah, I don't want to do a course on how to break into a vehicle, but we got it open and we were able to get on our way. So you never know what's going to happen in those places. And just so in remote places, what do you do when
Yeah.
you have breakdowns?
Yeah, you're especially in the if the weather is not good. I mean, like it could get what sub 30,
Sub 30
Yeah.
for sure, for sure.
so that would be pretty.
That
pretty
was my
vulnerable.
situation when I was first in the Yukon. I hit a moose. I got on the outside of the moose,
Okay.
but it did a lot of damage to the vehicle. Fortunately, the vehicle was still drivable, but that was minus 30 in the winter,
Yeah.
the end of January. A
So
long way from Whitehorse.
I guess they would have like because a lot of missionaries are coming from outside of Canada, right? Like say India.
A lot of them come from
Philippines.
equatorial
Yeah.
or
I imagine they
sub-equatorial countries.
Bishop Vila provides some sort of emergency preparedness.
Yeah, he's done something very important since he's arrived in the Yukon. Every vehicle now has a survival kit
That's
in
cool.
it.
That's cool. That's cool. So, what, like, while you were there, what were some specific highlights or recent projects that that diocese or some of the missions in that diocese had been doing?
So a lot of the churches were built 80 to 100 years ago,
Okay.
not in good repair. And Bishop Vila has a program to fix these up. A lot of them are roofs.
Okay. Yeah.
And Catholic Missions in Canada has provided funding or some of the funding for that. Of course, in Telegraph Creek, the church burned down, wildfire. Church and rectory, we helped to rebuild that. So they have new structures there. It's a new structure in Dease Lake. So a lot of repair of buildings in terms of the Whitehorse diocese.
Yeah. From the pictures that you took, it looks like a fairly active community, at least in the Dease Lake, Telegraph Creek area.
Telegraph Creek is an active area. Dease Lake is not.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Very few in Dease Lake, but the bishop says it's scheduled to grow.
Okay. What's the main economic draw for that area? Mining or just natural resources? If there are people moving out there for work.
I didn't get into this with Bishop Vila, but I was wondering what the draw would be.
I know people my age who have moved to the Yukon to teach, like specifically in Yellowknife.
Yeah, to teach, but there's some kind of college opening,
Okay.
and I just don't see how they're going to do that. But that's what he told me. So I guess it would be students coming into that area, teachers. But there isn't the infrastructure for it right now.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see.
Didn't they build a not a highway that we think of highways, but is there not a new road, or is that is that Nunavut?
Not in this area.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
The road to Telegraph Creek is under construction. Since they had the fire there, the heavy trucks just destroyed the road. But nothing like that.
Okay, so we're gonna be sharing some photos from that trip at some point. Well, Father Dave took pictures, so we'll
Father Dave took a lot of pictures.
So we'll post those pictures on our social media. Maybe there will be some articles in the magazine.
Yes.
That come out sharing more stories about the missions in that area, in that diocese. And to close today, we're looking at Thanksgiving weekend next weekend, 2 weekends from now. So what are you thankful for?
I am always thankful for our donors.
The support.
Always thankful for our donors. Faithful and true, steady and constant. I sound like the commercial for public broadcasting, but it's true. Without their donors, we don't exist. Yeah. We can't help the bishops.
Yeah, and you were reminded by traveling of the specifics that the support goes to, like buying gas for the truck, buying the food.
Yeah, it's and also inspecting the money that we have spent in the past on the buildings, and to talk to the missionaries. Most of what we give out is missionary sustenance. It's just keeping the missionary in the field. Food, residence, heating, utilities, vehicle and gas.
Okay, so I think that's it for episode 3 of From the President's Desk. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, you can stay tuned in by following us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Missions Canada.
Wouldn't it be great to get some feedback?
Yes, comment.
To see if you like this.
You're always welcome to comment. You're always welcome to comment just directly in the video. Or send us an email. You can reach me at adam@cmic.info, or message us directly on Facebook and Instagram. We would love your feedback. If you have any ideas for guests or stories that you'd like to share, or questions for Father Dave, we can answer those. And
could we do something in the future where maybe it's interactive?
Yeah, people are always able
to ask
us
questions as we're talking.
Yeah, people can do that by commenting. So you're always welcome. Our audience is always welcome. And if you're again looking to purchase a calendar or one of these bespoke boards, you can do so by visiting our website, cmic.info. And that's all for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in.